Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ancient Ways for Modern Days. My name is Mike Freeman. I'm the pastor at Valley Christian Fellowship in Longview, Washington. And today, in our discipleship journey through the Gospel of John, we are still continuing to look at this incredible exchange where Jesus he lowers himself as a servant. He washes his disciples' feet. He washes Judas's feet, who is going to betray him. He loves his enemies. He washes Peter's feet, even though Peter objects at first, and then Peter wants Jesus to wash him from head to toe. And ultimately, Jesus is talking about the cleansing that Jesus provides through his death and resurrection. Well, today in our text, we're going to pick up in verse 12. And here's what we have. The text continues. It says, "When he had washed their feet and put on his outer garments and resumed his place, he said to them, 'Do you understand what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for so I am.'" Here's where we begin. Jesus says, look, you guys understand, I'm trying to teach you something. I want you to understand something. You call me your teacher. I am your teacher. You call me your Lord. He says, I am your Lord. He makes it very clear. I outrank you guys. I am the leader here, is what Jesus says. And I mean, he is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. This is not fully set into their mind completely, but they know. They know that he outranks them. They know that he is unique. They know that he is the leader. And so he says, do you understand this? I have done this, and look who I am. Look who I am. And then he continues. Verse 14. "If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you should do just as I have done to you. Truly, truly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him." Here's what Jesus says. He says, look, I outrank you. I am superior to you, yet I have washed your feet. This is the task of a menial servant. This is the task of the lowest rung on the totem pole. This is not something the leader does. This is something that someone of very little importance does. And Jesus has done this very task. And he says, look, if I am the one who outranks you and I have done this to you, so you also should do this to each other. Here's what he says. He says, listen, there is nothing that is too little for you to do to serve one another. He says, I have done the role of a servant in your presence to you. So you, as you look around at each other, you should serve one another. He says, I have an example for you. You should follow my example. This speaks volumes to us in the church today. Sometimes at the church, we can become pretty self-important. Well, I'm not going to do that because, I'm more mature or I'm more advanced than this person. I'm not going to lower myself to that position. I'm not going to pick up the garbage, or I'm not going to do this ministry. This is a ministry that I'm well beyond or well past. Listen, any kind of thinking like that is simply at the very core is pride. It's pride. The Lord brings down those who are full of pride, and he exalts those who are humble. He says, look, I have given you the example. You must walk in this kind of service toward others. And then verse 16, truly, truly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Jesus just reminds us, look, he says, look, are you greater than me? Are you greater than Jesus Christ? Do you outrank Jesus? And the answer is rhetorical. It's an obvious no. And so because the answer is an obvious no, Jesus says, look, if I have done this and none of you are higher ranked than I am, then you should have no problem whatsoever doing this for each other. This should be standard fare. You should be looking for ways you can humble yourself and serve one another on a daily basis. Now let's bring this to application. Let's apply this. In your life, when you're around your church family, What are the things that you could be doing that would serve your church family? In your home, when you are coming home from a day at work, or when you're spending time with the kids, or when you're spending time with your parents, listen, what are the things that you can do to be serving those around you? We can get so quickly in the mindset where we're doing what we want to do for ourselves, and we could even get in the mindset where we're entitled. We have expectations about what others should do for us, and we forget that Jesus calls us to serve one another. Now, let me speak to the parents. Parents, this can be hard sometimes because you see your kids and you see that they should be doing certain things. Listen, win them over by caring for them. I'm not saying don't give them chores or anything, but win them over by looking for ways to serve them, to care for them. Teens, children, if you're listening to this, the same thing. Oftentimes at kids and teens, you can become so narrow-minded, so focused on what you are doing in your life in those very moments that you forget that you should have an open, wide, broad perspective. What are the needs that you can be meeting in your home? In fact, teens, young adults, what are the needs you can be making or meeting in your church? This is how you mature in the faith. You serve. You look for ways that you can give your life to those in your church, to the ministry, to the community. When you do this, you will grow into Christ-likeness because Christ was willing to lay down his life. Christ was willing to serve. For crying out loud, he washed his disciples' feet. This is our ancient way for our modern day. It's to remember that you are not greater than your master. Rather, you are to follow in your master's footprints, and you are to serve your brothers and sisters, specifically your brothers and sisters in Christ. This is our ancient way for our modern day.